Yeah, I thought my first year with Poland was a learning experience, especially coming from Europe and learning the system, different culture. I didn't speak the English 100%, and it was a good experience for me. I didn't play a lot of minutes, and I knew when I got the chance, I'll do well.
There was a chance that the 28-year-old Petrović would stay with the Nets and continue to be one of the core players in the Nets' resurgence. Petrovic's life was dashed last night on the German Autobahn when the car he was riding in lost control on a rainy, slippery surface and crashed into a truck.
The story you know about Dražen Petrović is sanitized. Documentaries show highlights. Tributes praise his shooting. Everyone celebrates the pioneer who proved Europeans could dominate the NBA. Nobody discusses what his final season actually looked like. The contract disputes, the knee injury he rushed back from, the crushing pressure of representing an entire continent, the loneliness, the escape plan to Europe. June 7th, 1993 ended one of basketball's brightest careers in a German car crash. But the real tragedy started months earlier. This isn't the polished narrative. This is what actually happened in Dražen Petrovic's final days. 1992-93 season, New Jersey Nets. Dražen Petrović was finally proving everyone wrong. 22.3 points per game, 51.8% field goal shooting, 44.9% from three-point range. All NBA third team. Numbers that placed him amongst the elite guards in basketball. The Croatian shooting guard, who'd been dismissed as too European, was dominating American professionals. Media praised his work ethic. Coaches praised his intensity. Fans praised his relentless style. The narrative formed perfectly. Dražen Petrović had arrived. He'd made it. The American dream was complete. Nobody mentioned what was happening behind closed doors. If you want to understand what really happened to Dražen Petrović, hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment sharing your memories of watching him play. Let me know your story. December 1992, 3 months into the season. The New York Times reported something most fans missed. Dražen was furious with Nets management. Contract negotiations had stalled. Management took a hard stance. Dražen wanted an extension, security, recognition for what he'd accomplished. The Nets refused, treated him like he was still proving himself. After dragging the franchise to consecutive playoff appearances for the first time since 1986, after becoming their best player, after revolutionizing how Americans viewed European talent, still insufficient. The frustration ate at him daily. Management viewed him as a commodity, a trade asset, something to maximize value from before committing long-term. Whilst fans watched him score 22 points nightly, nobody saw the contract stress. Nobody saw the late-night phone calls to family in Croatia. Nobody saw a man realizing that even elite performance didn't guarantee respect, that being foreign made you expendable, that your best season could still leave you fighting for basic security. The truth nobody discusses: Dražen had already decided to leave. By early 1993, his mind was made. Europe was calling. Panathinaikos in Greece had offered everything the Nets wouldn't: respect, security, appreciation. He planned to spend 1 or 2 seasons there, then return to the NBA, but not to New Jersey, to Boston, the Celtics. He had a soft spot for teams with shamrock emblems: Panathinaikos, Notre Dame, Boston Celtics. The green meant something, represented tradition, legacy, class, things he felt the Nets didn't value. Whilst newspapers praised his breakout season, Dražen was planning his exit, already mentally checked out, playing for pride, for Croatia, for himself, not for a franchise that didn't appreciate him. February 1993 brought another wound. NBA All-Star Game in Salt Lake City. Dražen believed he'd earned selection. His numbers proved it. Top 11 in scoring, best three-point shooter in the league amongst guards, leading the Nets in every major category. The selection committee chose Detlef Schrempf instead. Schrempf became the first European invited to an All-Star game. The honor Dražen felt should have been his. Recognition he'd earned through years of grinding, given to someone else. The injury cut deep. His feelings hurt, but he did what he always did: buried the pain, worked harder, averaged 25 points over the next month, made everyone remember what they'd overlooked. March 22nd, 1993. Washington Bullets. Collision under the basket with LeBredford Smith. Drazen's left knee buckled. Immediate pain. Placed on injured list. Doctors recommended rest. Teammates suggested rest. Common sense demanded rest. Dražen refused. He'd watched Isaiah Thomas play through injuries. Watched Bernard King battle back from worse. Stars played hurt. That separated good from great. So he demanded the Nets bring him back, insisted he could play, couldn't watch his team struggle without him, couldn't sit whilst others questioned his toughness. On April 14th, management allowed his return. Indianapolis, Pacers game, 19-point loss. Dražen scored 6 points, dragged his leg up and down the court. The special knee bracelet provided no help. Everyone watching could see he wasn't ready, but he kept playing. 6 more games, pushing through pain, trying to help, damaging himself more. The documentaries missed the motivation. Dražen returned too soon because fear drove him. Fear the injury would give the Nets an excuse to avoid extending his contract. Fear European critics would say he couldn't handle NBA physicality. Fear Americans would label him soft. Fear his legacy would be tarnished before it was established. So he played hurt. Compromised long-term health for short-term validation, risked permanent damage to prove temporary toughness. That's the pressure nobody discusses. The constant need to prove yourself, not just as a player, as a European player. Every game was a referendum on whether Europeans belonged. Every missed shot provided ammunition for critics who wanted the NBA to stay American. Every injury became potential evidence of weakness. Every struggle validated doubters who said foreigners couldn't handle the physicality. Dražen carried that weight alone, completely alone. Nobody in the league understood it. Not teammates who were American, not coaches who'd never played overseas, not management who viewed him as an experiment. Not in 1993, before Dirk Nowitzki proved Germans could dominate, before Pau Gasol showed Spanish skill, before Tony Parker demonstrated French finesse, before Giannis and Jokic became MVPs. Dražen was pioneering a path nobody had successfully walked, fighting battles nobody else understood, representing a continent that desperately needed validation. The burden was killing him, slowly, methodically, invisibly. The comeback attempt produced one magical moment. April 20th, 1993. Washington again, same team that caused the injury. Bullets led by 23 points entering the fourth quarter. Game looked over. Dražen couldn't accept that. Not against the team that hurt him. Not with everything he was trying to prove. Fourth quarter explosion. 12 points in minutes. Mid-range jumpers, three-pointers, transition baskets, using Derek Coleman's picks, attacking Rex Chapman. Nets came roaring back. The crowd went insane. Dražen played like a man possessed, exorcising demons, proving the injury couldn't stop him, proving his worth, proving everything he needed to prove. It wasn't enough to win, but enough to remind everyone who he was. Playoffs arrived. Cleveland Cavaliers, first round. Nets fought hard. Cleveland was better. Series ended in 4 games. Season over. Dražen averaged 22.3 points, made All-NBA third team, accomplished everything except what mattered most. The Nets still hadn't extended his contract, still hadn't shown him the respect he deserved. So Dražen did what he'd planned, left for Europe. Croatian national team needed him. European Championship qualifications in Poland. One last chance to play for his country. One last chance to be appreciated, truly appreciated. June 5th, 1993, Wrocław, Poland. Croatia versus Slovenia, European Championship qualifier, Dražen's final game. 30 points, led his team even in defeat, played with the same intensity he'd shown his entire career. Afterwards, teammates flew back to Zagreb via Frankfurt. Standard route. Dražen made a different choice. His girlfriend was in Germany, Klara Shalanci. He wanted to visit, spend time together, meet her friends and family, test the relationship, see if it was real. So he skipped the team flight, arranged to meet her at Frankfurt Airport, drive to Munich together, spend the next night at a hotel, make memories, build something. Nobody thought twice about it. Just Dražen being Dražen, taking a different path, living his life. June 7th, 1993, evening. Rainy Autobahn near Ingolstadt, Germany. Red Volkswagen Golf heading south towards Munich. Klara driving, Dražen in the passenger seat. Her friend Hilal Edebal in the back. 3 people making a routine drive. No indication anything was wrong. Then everything went wrong simultaneously. Northbound lanes. Dutch tanker truck swerving to avoid a car, crashing through the median barrier, blocking the southbound lanes. Klara saw it too late. Lost control trying to avoid impact. Golf hit the guardrail. Spun. Slammed into the truck. 300 liters of diesel spilling everywhere. The car's bonnet pushed straight into the front. Catastrophic damage. The detail nobody wants to acknowledge. Dražen wasn't wearing a seatbelt. Whether by choice or habit or comfort, he wasn't buckled in. The impact threw him directly towards the truck. Significant head trauma. Death was instant. His watch stopped at the exact moment of impact. Klara survived. Injuries, but alive. The guardrail hit turned her away from the worst force. Hilal survived. Barely. Thrown to the front seat. Brain damage. Broken arm, broken hip. Fire crews arrived to find a crumpled golf and a dead basketball legend. 28 years old, peak of his career. All-NBA third team, finally proving Europeans belong. Gone. The narrative formed immediately. Tragic accident. Cut down in his prime. Living his dream when fate intervened. Dražen Petrović died happy, died successful, died fulfilled. Every obituary said the same. Every tribute video repeated the story. The truth was messier. Dražen died frustrated, died underappreciated by his NBA team, died planning his escape to Europe, died carrying the weight of representing an entire continent, died still trying to prove himself worthy. That's not the story anyone wants to hear, but it's the truth. The Nets retired his number 3 jersey 5 months later. November 1993, Meadowlands Arena. Proper tribute, proper respect. Everything Dražen deserved whilst alive, given after death. That's how it works sometimes. Recognition comes when it's too late to matter. The contract extension management wouldn't give him alive, meaningless now. The all-star selection the committee denied him, can't fix that. The appreciation he craved came at a funeral. Basketball Hall of Fame in 2002, 9 years after his death. First Croatian inducted, pioneer for European players, paved the way for Dirk Nowitzki, for Pau Gasol, for Tony Parker, for Giannis, for Jokic. Every European success story traces back to Dražen. Every continental player owes him debt, but he died before seeing his legacy fulfilled. The documentaries won't tell you this. That final season wasn't triumph. It was struggle, contract disputes, injury management, all-star snubs, constant pressure to represent Europe perfectly, loneliness thousands of miles from home, relationship stress, trade rumors. Every day was warfare. Yes, he averaged 22 points. Yes, he made All-NBA third team, but at what cost? His knee hurt, his spirit hurt, his patience with the NBA was exhausted. The crash didn't rob him of happiness. It robbed him of escape, of the chance to reset in Europe, of playing somewhere that truly valued him, of maybe finding peace. The real tragedy isn't just that Dražen Petrović died young. It's that he died still fighting, still proving, still grinding to earn respect that should have been automatic, still carrying weight nobody else understood. The world remembers him as a pioneer, a legend, the Mozart of basketball. But those final months, lonely, painful, frustrating. Nobody remembers that part. Nobody wants to remember that part. It's easier to say he died living his dream, easier than acknowledging the dream had turned complicated, turned difficult, turned exhausting. June 7th, 1993, Autobahn crash. Official cause of death. But the real cause was everything that led there. The pressure, the disrespect, the constant need to prove Europeans belonged. The injury he played through too soon, the contract disputes, the escape attempt. All of it accumulated, pushed him towards that car, towards that girlfriend, towards that drive, towards that fatal decision not to wear a seatbelt. Could he have survived with it? Maybe. Would he have stayed in America with proper contract respect? Maybe. Would he still be alive if the NBA had treated him better? We'll never know. What we know, Dražen Petrovic's final season wasn't the fairy tale everyone pretends. It was a 28-year-old fighting for respect he'd already earned, playing hurt to prove toughness, planning escape to find appreciation, dying before finding peace. The truth is harder than the legend, but the truth matters. Pretending everything was perfect doesn't honor Dražen. It erases his struggle, ignores his sacrifice, sanitizes his story. He deserves better. He deserved better whilst alive. He deserves truth now that he's gone. 32 years later, his legacy is secure. Hall of Fame, retired jersey, pioneer status. Every European player knows his name. Every basketball fan remembers his shooting. But few remember the pain, the loneliness, the pressure, the final season that broke him, even as it made him. That's the real story of Dražen Petrović. Not the highlight reels, not the statistics, not the pioneer narrative. The human cost of being first. Of proving everyone wrong whilst carrying everyone's expectations. Of dying, still fighting for recognition that came too late. Hit subscribe if this resonated. Share it if someone needs to understand the real cost of breaking barriers.